Hey guys, it's Nina here. I've been thinking about making this video for a while, and it's about the dark night of the soul. Some people might know it like the spiritual depression. And I think this is a topic that's important to kind of put out there. I want to share with you my story and also some of the signs that you may be experiencing a dark night of the soul. And it's a dark night of the soul, but honestly it could be a dark month of the soul or a dark year of the soul as I experienced it. And I think that recognizing it will help you get out of it faster. And I want to share with you also some tips that I use when I feel I'm maybe falling back into it, or maybe just feeling very overall sad. So the dark night of the soul is pretty much a time of your life when things are just not working out. It feels like everything is falling apart, and it's usually triggered by a spiritual awakening. And a spiritual awakening is usually triggered by a big event in your life, or a big problem, or even a death in your family might kind of put you into the path of trying to question the purpose of life. So for me, it was deaths in my family. And I say deaths because it was 3 particular deaths in my family that made me stop what I was doing, stop the work that I was doing as a real estate agent, as a very, very busy person, just not paying attention to life, to question everything. So it'll start by you questioning, like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of life? Is the point of working, coming home, maybe have some social gatherings, and then sleep, waking up, working, and doing it all over again, and kind of like gathering things, like buying things, bringing things into your life, and then what? Is where I was. What's the point of that? What happens after death? What's my purpose? You start kind of questioning these things. You start trying to figure these things out. So I started to consume everything. The books. I mean, it started with Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I could probably sit here and endless, Greg Braden, all these amazing spiritual authors. And I was reading their books, and I was consuming the YouTube videos, and I was completely fascinated to understand that we are infinite divine beings, and that we are so much more than our physical body. And all that was great and gravy. However, it caused me to go through a dark night of the soul, where some of the characteristics, just, I'm going to list them out. Maybe you can resonate with some of them, but just feeling extremely sad, empty, disconnected, lonely, having worthy issues. Are you worthy of whatever success or anything? Lack of interest, like things that used to excite you, or things that used to get you excited and happy, just don't do it for you anymore. Harder to get up from bed. And that could be depression itself, but I felt it was a dark night of the soul and a spiritual depression, specifically because of how it started and what led me down that path. And I was in a dark night of the year. I felt it was a long period of time where my emotions were very unstable, where I questioned a lot of things and was overall just sad, especially when I realized that I had so much influence in my life, that my thoughts were creating my reality. And what I wanted in life, or the things that I was looking for to feel fulfilled, felt like they were so far. Like I was in a dark tunnel and it was the light, I could see it, but it was so far away. And that made it hard for me to just get through the day. I would find myself crying. I would find myself kind of shutting off from people, from the world, and trying to get myself back out of this and trying to get myself to feel better. So Eckhart Tolle has a blog post about this, and I'm going to link it below. And I wrote it down, just one quote. He said, the dark night of the soul is the collapse of your perception of the meaning of life. And then he goes on explaining how he went through the dark night of the soul and how it's common to feel this way or go through these things. So I felt very grateful to find that post, so I'm going to link it below for whoever needs to read it. So this thing is really real, and I just want to put this video out there in case anybody's feeling lonely because of it, because you're not alone, and a lot of people who are going through the spiritual awakening will share that. And I think that it doesn't have to be as painful or as drawn out or as long as mine. I think that I was, during that year, I went through many different career changes, trying to find fulfillment, looking for answers. I felt like there was something more that I needed to do, that I needed to say, and I couldn't find the words, and I couldn't find the way to express myself. So I want to share that with you. So if you're feeling any of that, you might be in the dark night of the soul. So here are some tips that I want to share with you that helped me get through it. And now that I look back, I go, oh, I was definitely spiritually depressed. The number one thing was that I kept fighting it because I felt that I could not think negative or be sad. I wasn't giving myself the opportunity to just feel sad. So I think that fighting it, the tension of that kind of kept me prolonged the feeling of feeling depressed. So my suggestion is to give yourself permission to feel sad. If the day sucks, if you want to cry, just do it. Just cry. Acknowledge that it's not a good day and feel it. Just be aware of it. It's here. Don't try to fight it, because I think that fight is what makes you kind of stay in it longer. And take it day by day. And in the morning, try these things that I do every single morning to help myself have a better day. And slowly but surely, you'll come right out of this, okay? So the first thing is that I do when I wake up, when I open my eyes, is that I start to list out what I am grateful for. And I know you've heard this before, and I know blah, 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 feeling grateful, but to truly feel grateful for the things you do have, family, spouse, kids, a home that you took care of your bills, basic stuff like water, clean water, like fresh air. Just start listing them. And it helped me have a much better day and slowly crawl myself out of this depression. Another thing that I did, every time I felt like if this wasn't going to be a good day, I wasn't feeling great, meditation. Not a long one, maybe like a 5-minute one, where I took deep breaths and I was just aware of my breaths, closed my eyes, closed the door, went into a bedroom and meditated. And I would try not to come out of it feeling the same way that I was feeling when I went in it. So I would try to also think of things that I was grateful for, or just think of people that I love, things that I love, to help me just raise my feelings, just feel a little bit better. Another thing that was detrimental that I know saved me and pulled me right out of a spiritual depression was yoga. It doesn't have to be yoga for you, but find something that be active about. Go walking, gym, whatever it is that you feel that will kind of motivate you to get up. For me, it was definitely yoga, and yoga helped me feel better after the session. I may not have wanted to go to the yoga class, okay? I'm sharing this with you because I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to be upset or be sad. But I forced myself, and after the yoga practice, after the meditation, after I listed what I was grateful for, I felt better. So I'm sharing that. Another thing is connecting with nature. Take a trip somewhere. Go to the mountains. Go to the beach. Go to the lake. Go to, wherever there's nature, walks, water, where you could see lakes and rivers. Go there. There's something about nature, especially when you're going through these deep times in your head. Another thing is finding like-minded people to talk to about this. Do not talk to friends and family that you know won't understand you, because they will make you feel worse. Sometimes I wanted to share things with friends and family about how I was feeling, and their immediate thing would be, oh, you need to go talk to a psychologist. You need help. Or you need to take some medicine. Or, go to church. There was not, I felt that those things made me even sadder, because I felt like, I knew that I was not feeling well and I was depressed, but it wasn't to the point where I wasn't like getting up from bed. Like, it wasn't that bad where I felt like I needed that. But then when I talk to people, I have a mentor, which I love her, and just people who understood me when I could talk to them about this, and they would say helpful things that would help me get out of that. First of all, understanding that this is normal, what I was going through, and actually a good thing. Like, I didn't realize that it could be a good thing to go through this, because that just means that, like Eckhart Tolle explains this, kind of like your old personality is dying and this new person is being born. It's kind of like the analogy of a plant. When you plant a seed in the ground, it goes through a time of darkness before it pushes through the darkness and into, towards the light, and then it blossoms into a beautiful plant or flower, right? So that's kind of like what the dark night of the soul is. That is what's happening to us when we're going through it. And only people who are on the spiritual path can talk to you like that, explain it to you in that way, and make you go, oh, that makes me feel better. So trying to find like-minded people or a mentor that you could talk to is definitely very helpful. And I wanted to share that with you in case anybody is going through, a rough time. I hope this helps somebody out there, because I know it's not easy. And I hope that the idea that you are just becoming an awesome version of yourself helps somebody recognize what this is, what you're going through, and helps you see the better side of things.